Hello, my friends. Dr. John Smith here, and I am so incredibly glad you are spending a few minutes with me today. Just the other morning, I was talking to an old friend of mine. He told me something that broke my heart. He said, "John, I stopped playing on the floor with my grandkids because when I try to stand up, my feet feel like they are completely asleep, and I am terrified of falling while holding them." He looked at me with tears in his eyes and said he felt like his own body was forcing him to miss out on the best years of his life. That conversation stayed with me all week, and it is the exact reason I am talking to you today. If you are waking up in the middle of the night because your feet burn like they are on fire, or if you feel a strange numbness and tingling that makes you feel unstable on your pins, I want you to look at me right now. That is not just getting old, it is a loud scream for help from your nerves. Before we dive into the hidden poisons causing this, I want to ask you a favor. Please go down to the comments right now and tell me, what is that one thing you love doing? Whether it is gardening, dancing with your spouse, or holding your grandbabies, that this pain or numbness is trying to steal from you. Share your story with me. I read your comments because you are not just a number to me. You are a person who deserves to be heard, and by sharing, you might give someone else the comfort of knowing they are not alone in the dark. Now, to understand why your feet and hands are playing these painful tricks on you, we have to look at how your amazing body is built. Think of your nervous system as a beautiful glowing power grid that runs through a wonderful old house. Your brain is the main generator, and your nerves are the long copper wires that stretch out to every single room, all the way down to the basement, which is your feet. When that house is brand new, every single wire is covered in a thick, perfect layer of protective plastic insulation. In your body, we medical folks call that protective coating myelin. When your myelin is thick and healthy, the electricity flows perfectly. You step on the floor, your brain gets a crisp, clear signal, and you walk with absolute confidence. But as the years go by, certain hidden forces can start to melt and chew away at that plastic coating. When the bare wire inside is exposed, the electricity starts sparking wildly and leaking out. That is exactly what a doctor means when they say the word neuropathy. Those sparks are the exact reason you feel that awful buzzing, that burning fire, or that terrifying emptiness where you cannot even feel the ground beneath you. It is just a frayed wire trying its best to talk to your brain. Let us look at what is frying those wires. The very first place we need to look for these nerve-frying culprits might completely shock you. It is not an exotic toxin or a rare disease. It is sitting right inside your home, inside that little mirrored cabinet above your bathroom sink. Yes, I am talking about your everyday prescription medications. Over my decades in medicine, I have looked at hundreds of pill bottles belonging to my patients over 65. Many times, people are taking 4, 5, or even 6 different pills every single day. Some of these pills were prescribed years ago, and sometimes we forget exactly why we started taking them in the first place. Here is something many doctors do not take the time to explain to you. A body at 70 does not handle medicine the same way a body at 30 does. As we cross into our golden years, our livers and our kidneys naturally slow down their daily work. They take much longer to clean things out of our system. This means the medications you take stay in your bloodstream far longer than they used to, slowly building up day after day. A pill that causes 0 issues for a young person can become an absolute sledgehammer to the nervous system of an older adult. Let us talk about the specific groups of pills that do this. The first group of medications we need to talk about are actually prescribed to treat nerve pain and seizures. You might know them by names like gabapentin or pregabalin. Now, when you first start taking these pills, they can feel like an absolute godsend because they quiet down the fiery burning in your legs. They work by putting a blanket over your nerve cells to keep them from overreacting. But when your body processes these medications slowly, that blanket becomes way too heavy. Instead of just calming the pain, it slows down your entire central nervous system. My patients often tell me that by late afternoon, they feel like they are moving through a thick fog. According to trusted medical data from the American Geriatric Society, these specific drugs significantly increase drowsiness and can cause mild confusion in older adults. When your nerves are slowed down too much, your muscles respond a second too late. This is why you might feel dizzy when you stand up from your favorite chair, or why your legs suddenly feel like jelly. It dramatically increases your risk of a dangerous fall, which is the #1 threat to your independent life. Never stop taking them cold turkey, but we must watch them closely. The second group of medications hiding in plain sight are drugs used for anxiety and to help you catch a good night's sleep. We are talking about pills like diazepam, lorazepam, alprazolam, or zolpidem. You might know them as regular sleeping aids or nerve pills that have been in your bathroom cabinet for 10 or 20 years. Many people think of them as harmless little tools to help them rest, but after 65, the price your nervous system pays for them is incredibly high. Because an older body takes a very long time to clear these chemicals out, you wake up the next morning with the drug still active in your system. It leaves your brain running on low power. Patients tell me all the time, "Dr. Smith, when I get out of bed in the morning, my legs feel shaky, and if I turn around too fast to answer the phone, I feel like the whole room is spinning." This is not just old age catching up to you. This is a chemical slowing down your brain's ability to coordinate your steps, making these pills one of the leading hidden causes of hip fractures and falls in our community. The third group of medications that can quietly harm your nerves are older antihistamines and a specific class of older medications for mood and pain called tricyclic antidepressants. You might know them by names like amitriptyline, nortriptyline, or even over-the-counter allergy pills like diphenhydramine. While these can be very helpful for allergies or deep sleep, they carry what we doctors call a strong anticholinergic effect. In plain English, that means they dry out your nervous system and slow down the vital chemical messages traveling between your brain and your limbs. When you take these, especially after age 65, you might notice your mouth feels like cotton, your heart beats a little faster, or you get a sudden rush of dizziness the moment you stand up. For your nerves, this slowdown means that feelings of heaviness, numbness, or a total loss of balance can creep up on you out of nowhere. If you are taking these and notice your balance slipping, it is a sign your nervous system is struggling under their weight. The fourth group of medications includes certain long-term antibiotics and heart medicines. Pills like metronidazole or nitrofurantoin, when used for months at a time, can directly attack the myelin sheath covering your nerves. Even certain rhythm-regulating heart medications like amiodarone have been shown to cause nerve toxicity over time. Now, please hear me clearly on this. Do not panic and absolutely do not stop taking your prescribed medications on your own. Doing that could be incredibly dangerous for your heart or your health. My goal here is simply to give you the knowledge so you can become an active partner in your own care. I want you to be able to sit down with your doctor, look them in the eye, and ask if your current prescriptions are truly the safest choices for your nerves. There are almost always safer, modern alternatives available that can protect your heart and your sleep without sacrificing your balance and your independence. Now that we have looked at the medicine cabinet, let us move to the second hidden force destroying your nerves, our daily habits. The very first daily habit we must talk about involves a sweet, silent enemy that is likely sitting on your kitchen counter right now. I am talking about sugar. Now, a lot of people think a high blood sugar reading is just a boring number on a lab report, but I want you to picture what it is actually doing inside your body. When your blood sugar stays high for too long, whether you have full-blown diabetes or just love sweet treats and white bread, your blood changes. Instead of flowing smoothly like a clear, refreshing river to nurse your limbs, your blood becomes thick, heavy, and sticky, almost like warm maple syrup. Medical researchers call this process glycation. This sticky sugar physically attaches itself to the delicate proteins and fats that make up your nerves. It literally deforms their fragile shape and starts eating away at that protective myelin plastic wrap we talked about earlier. Because your body has to pump blood all the way down to your toes against gravity, the longest nerves in your body are always the very first to starve and suffocate from this sticky sugar. This is exactly why the burning and numbness almost always start at the tips of your toes and slowly creep up your calves. The second daily habit we must look at is something many people view as a harmless way to unwind in the evening. I am talking about alcohol. Now, I know a lot of folks love to have a glass of wine with dinner or a cold beer while watching the game, and there is a common belief that a little drink every day is good for the heart. But when it comes to your delicate nervous system and your brain, alcohol is a direct toxin, and that is a medical truth we cannot ignore. When you have a drink, that alcohol goes straight to your brain and temporarily slows down your nerve cells, which is why you feel relaxed. However, when drinking becomes a daily long-term routine, those innocent-looking drinks begin to act like tiny, repetitive cuts to your nervous tissue. Over time, alcohol and the chemicals your body creates to break it down flip a switch that damages the fragile membranes of your nerve cells, making it incredibly difficult for them to send accurate messages to your muscles. But the damage goes even deeper because alcohol acts like a thief in your digestive tract. It actively blocks your body from absorbing the vital nutrients your nerves desperately need to survive, especially a beautiful little spark plug called thiamine or vitamin B1. When your body runs out of thiamine, the wires in your hands and feet begin to starve, leading directly to a terrible burning sensation, deep numbness, and a complete loss of your natural reflexes. Furthermore, modern medical studies using advanced brain scans have shown something truly eye-opening that many people don't know. Even moderate, steady drinking over the years causes the physical volume of your brain to shrink, accelerating memory issues and making you lose your footing much faster. So that old idea that a daily drink is a health tonic is actually a very dangerous misunderstanding for an aging nervous system. If you feel like a daily drink has sneaked up on you, please don't feel ashamed. Go ahead and tell me down in the comments if you've ever noticed your legs feeling a bit more unsteady the morning after a drink. Sharing your experience helps us break down the stigma, and it allows me to see exactly what you are going through so we can face it together as a family. Your nerves are not static objects. They are living, breathing parts of you that require constant nourishment, very much like a delicate backyard garden needs water and rich soil to keep from wilting away. When your body misses out on essential vitamins and minerals, your internal power grid starts to blink and short circuit like an overloaded electrical wire. The most important protectors of your nerve insulation are the vitamins in the B family, especially vitamin B12. Without enough B12, that protective plastic coating around your nerves thins out completely, leaving the bare, sensitive wires entirely exposed to damage. What is truly concerning is that a major clinical study published by the National Institutes of Health reveals that nearly 1 in 5 older adults over the age of 65 is severely deficient in vitamin B12, often because an aging stomach simply stops absorbing it properly from food. Because this deficiency develops so slowly over several years, the warning signs, like a sudden loss of balance, cold feet, or mild confusion, are very often misdiagnosed as just normal aging or early dementia, when in reality, your nerves are just starving for fuel. Vitamin B1, or thiamine, acts as the actual electricity that powers your nerve signals, and when it is missing, your limbs simply run out of gas and begin to wither. Meanwhile, vitamins B6 and B9 are the construction workers that repair daily wear and tear. We also cannot forget about magnesium, which is the crucial mineral that tells your nervous system to calm down and relax after a long day. If your daily diet is filled with highly processed box foods, frozen meals, or sugary pastries, you are actively stripping these vital nutrients away from your system, creating a fast track toward permanent peripheral neuropathy. Please take a moment to look back at your own life and tell me down in the comments, have you been relying on quick, processed meals because cooking has become too exhausting with your joint pain or low energy? Be honest with me. Sharing these personal struggles helps me understand the real-world hurdles you face every single day, so I can give you the exact, easy nutritional shortcuts you need to feed your nerves without spending hours standing in the kitchen. The fourth daily habit we must confront is a lifestyle that keeps you parked in one place for too long. I am talking about the sedentary lifestyle, which is like a slow, creeping rust that locks up your joints and shuts down your muscles without you ever noticing. As we cross over the age of 65, our bodies require regular, gentle movement just to keep the blood pumping, the muscles supple, and the nerves firing correctly. Yet, it is incredibly easy to fall into a routine where a large portion of your day is spent sitting in your favorite armchair, watching television, reading, or only taking a few brief steps around the living room. When you stay seated for hours at a time, the large muscles in your thighs and calves begin to weaken and shrink. Your circulation slows down to a sluggish crawl, and episodes of deep throbbing pain, numbness, and heavy legs become a frequent part of your day. This loss of physical stamina is not an inevitable sign that your body is failing due to old age. It is simply a physical reminder from your nervous system that it is missing out on its daily dose of fresh oxygen and activation. When you remain still, the tiny blood vessels that feed your nerves pinch shut, starving those delicate wires of the rich blood they need to stay alive. With just a few minutes of intentional, light movement spread throughout your day, you can reopen those pathways, making your legs feel noticeably sturdier and your mind significantly sharper. I know how incredibly hard it can be to move when your body hurts, but I want you to remember what is at stake here. Every single hour spent on that couch is taking you one step closer to losing your ability to walk out to your mailbox, drive your car, or visit your friends. It chips away at your freedom, forcing you to depend on others for the simplest tasks, which can leave you feeling isolated and heavy-hearted. Please drop a comment down below and tell me, what is the biggest obstacle keeping you on that couch right now? Is it severe knee pain, fear of losing your balance and falling, Or do you just feel too exhausted and lonely to get moving? Open up to me. When you share these deeply personal hurdles, it allows our whole community to wrap its arms around you. And it helps me design safe, sitting exercises that can get your blood flowing without putting a single ounce of stress on your painful joints. The third major force that silently attacks your nervous system comes from an invisible enemy hidden right inside the comfort of your own home. I am talking about environmental toxins. Most people think nerve damage only comes from health issues or bad habits, but everyday exposure to heavy metals can quietly strip away your nerve insulation, causing that severe numbness, pain, or burning to get worse year after year. The first invisible toxin is lead, which is frequently found in older houses built before the late 1970s. It hides in old layers of peeling paint, old water pipes, or even the soil outside your window. According to official safety reports from the Environmental Protection Agency, lead slowly builds up in the bones of older adults over a lifetime. When it releases back into the bloodstream, it delays your nerve signals, causing a deep, burning ache in your limbs and making your memory feel incredibly fuzzy. The second toxin is mercury, which sneaks into your kitchen through a food we normally consider very healthy, fish. Large, long-lived fish, like swordfish, king mackerel, or ahi tuna, absorb massive amounts of heavy mercury from the ocean over their long lives. When you eat these fish regularly, the mercury settles deep into your central nervous system, leading to trembling hands, a clumsy lack of coordination, and a complete loss of confidence when trying to walk across a room. The third metal is aluminum, which we use daily in the form of scratched baking sheets, aluminum foil, or even certain old-fashioned antacids. Constant exposure creates a state of continuous oxidative stress that wears down your protective myelin wrapper. Lastly, we have arsenic, which can secretly contaminate old well water or build up in heavily commercialized rice crops, causing intense electrical shocks in your feet and severe muscle weakness. Think about your own home for a moment. Please go down to the comments right now and tell me, do you live in a beautiful old house that might still have those vintage pipes? Or do you eat tuna frequently to keep your meals simple? Share your living situation with me. It breaks my heart to think that the very home you raised your children in, or the simple meals you rely on, might be the hidden source of your pain. So let us talk about it openly to keep you safe. Now that we have pulled back the curtain on these three major saboteurs, it is absolutely vital that you learn how to spot the early warning signs before the damage to your power grid becomes permanent. The very first signal almost always starts at the furthest point of your body, right in the tips of your toes. You might start noticing a faint tingling, like tiny ants crawling under your skin, or a sudden sharp pinch, like someone is sticking a needle into your foot. For other folks, it feels like an eerie emptiness, as if you are walking around with thick wool socks on, or stepping onto a soft sponge instead of a solid hardwood floor. This is the exact moment your frayed wires are misfiring and sending broken messages to your brain. If left ignored, that numbness begins to climb steadily up your ankles and your shins, eventually reaching all the way to your knees, robbing you of the physical feedback you need to stay upright. As the condition advances, a deep, wandering pain sets in. This is not the typical dull ache you feel in your joints after a long day of yard work. This is neurological pain. Some of my patients describe it as a deep, throbbing ache right inside the bone, while others say it feels like a sudden electric shock or a hot iron passing over their skin. It can be so incredibly sensitive that even the weight of a light bedsheet resting on your toes at night feels like absolute torture, keeping you awake and weeping until the morning hours. Because your brain is no longer receiving accurate information about where your feet are positioned, you will notice that you start to stumble or trip over small rugs and thresholds much more often. Your leg muscles, missing their regular electrical signals, begin to shrink and weaken. You might find that pushing yourself up from a deep sofa takes twice as much effort, or that your knees feel incredibly unstable and shaky when you try to walk down a short flight of stairs. Finally, you might notice subtle changes in your skin. Your feet might feel ice cold to the touch, even in the dead of summer. The skin can look shiny, dry, or take on a dark purple color, and the hair on your lower legs might completely disappear. These are clear signs that your automatic nerves are failing to control your blood flow. Please don't suffer through this in silence. Go down to the comments and tell me, have you been keeping your shoes on at night just to protect your feet from the painful touch of your blankets? Let me know, because understanding your specific pain helps me guide you to the right relief. To help you figure out exactly where you stand today, I want us to take a quick, honest 5-point test together. Ask yourself these questions right now. 1. Do your feet frequently burn, tingle, or feel like they are buzzing? 2. Do you experience sudden, sharp pains that feel like electrical shocks or needles? 3. Have you found yourself stumbling more often or losing your balance when you turn around quickly? 4. Do you feel a noticeable weakness in your legs when trying to climb stairs or stand up from a chair? 5. Are your feet constantly cold, extremely dry, or changing color? If you answered yes to 2 or more of these questions, please do not brush it off as just a part of growing older. It is a clear warning sign that your nervous system is actively under attack. But I want you to take a deep breath because there is so much hope, and we are about to start your personalized rescue plan today. The very first step in our plan is to do a complete audit of your medicine cabinet. I want you to take a small basket, gather every single prescription bottle and over-the-counter pill you take, and write down their names and dosages on a clean sheet of paper. Again, this is not so you can stop taking your medicine on your own. That can be incredibly dangerous. This is so you can bring a clear list to your primary doctor and ask them directly, could any of these pills be the secret reason my feet are burning and my balance is slipping? The second step is to start building a powerful nutritional shield around your nerve endings. We want to feed that damaged myelin insulation so it can heal, and you can start doing this with very simple additions to your daily meals. Try adding a small handful of walnuts, a simple spoonful of extra virgin olive oil over your food, or a clean piece of wild-caught salmon to your plate a couple of times a week. These simple whole foods are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids and natural B vitamins that soothe internal inflammation and give your nerves the raw materials they need to repair. I know changing your routine can feel completely overwhelming when you are already dealing with pain and fatigue. Please leave a comment below and tell me which of these first 2 steps feels the easiest for you to start with tomorrow morning. Is it writing down your medicine list or adding a healthy oil to your breakfast? Tell me your choice, because making a public commitment right here is the ultimate way to hold yourself accountable and take back the wheel of your own health. The third step in our rescue plan is to remember that gentle movement is a powerful form of natural medicine. When you get up and move your body for just 20 or 30 minutes every day, you are essentially turning on a pump that forces fresh, oxygen-rich blood all the way down into those starving nerve endings in your feet. If walking outside feels a bit too risky for your balance right now, you can try gentle chair yoga, smooth Tai Chi movements, or even swimming at your local community pool, which boosts your circulation beautifully without putting a single ounce of painful pressure on your knees or hips. The fourth and final step is to actively lower the toxic burden inside your home. Start by installing a simple, high-quality water filter on your kitchen faucet to clear out any hidden traces of lead or arsenic that might be traveling through old pipes. Take a close look at your kitchen cabinets and immediately throw away any old scratched Teflon pans, replacing them with safe, durable stainless steel, cast iron, or glass cookware. And when you visit the grocery store, always choose smaller fish, like sardines or wild salmon, while completely avoiding large ocean fish to keep heavy mercury out of your blood. As we reach the end of our journey today, what I want most of all is for you to feel a deep sense of peace and control over your own body. For years, well-meaning people might have told you that the burning, the numbness, and the shaky steps are just things you have to accept as you get older. But now you know the absolute medical truth. Your body always has a beautiful reason for the symptoms it shows. Your nerves are simply trying to talk to you, and you possess the power to change their future starting today. Your delicate nerves can be supported, your protective myelin insulation can be rebuilt, and that wonderful feeling of solid stability when you stand up to hug your family can absolutely return to your life. All it takes is a single, small decision to begin. A simple step today is the exact foundation that will bring back your confidence, your joy, and your total independence tomorrow. Before you close this video, I want to invite you to become an official member of our health family by subscribing to the channel so you never miss our weekly medical breakdowns. Please go down to the comments one last time and type the words, "I am taking my steps today," to let me and this entire beautiful community know that you are ready to fight for your health. I read every single story you share, and I am honored to walk right beside you every step of the way. I wish you a beautiful day filled with steady steps, deep peace, and a bright future where your feet feel as light and free as they did in your youth. I am Dr. John Smith. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you in our very next video.